And then the silence ends. Google, Apple, all the technology businesses and their workers, and the Canadian folks and people who are comedians and psychiatrists and psychologists declare victory. And explain the failure from the moron, the bitch, who speaks and says words on an application for medical school and can't even follow their own recommendations and their own prescriptions. And I'm not able to disregard the theoretical questions and the concerns and the dilemma caused by simplicity and calm. And therefore, the consciousness model, the emotional neutrality, and the language adjustments are necessary. Colors on the screen from some weirdo, warning signs from the technology business who says, yeah, you can do videos on here now, but have to meet their standards. Have to think in a similar way as to allow your child to sit upside down. Restrict the person who observes the actual occurrence and event and the time. Confuse them, cause disarray, misdescribe it because he was actually on his head, watching YouTube, a 6 or a 7-year-old. His back discombobulated. And his dad was at the business giving the son, the young boy, something to do. And all the video game movies and the memory of his back, his spine just twisting and turning and crunching. And his sister next to him on her computer and her phone. And I was there while the mom was home. And All Lives Mattered said the front yard sign. And they didn't have to worry about MIT applications. They didn't have to worry about making sense to a doctor. They packed up and moved because they were worried about an earthquake. They had their belongings transported and shipped to where they wanted to go. Having children watch superhero visual stimuli with video game voices and faces and saying they are the alphabet sounds a lot like a standoff. Well, they're going to stop doing their work on self-driving cars. Well, their supercomputer will get turned off. And their psychiatry and their psychology with their videos from universities and their search engine connecting people to resources doesn't need any assistance, doesn't need any adjustments. All they need are for people to put their hands down, shut their mouths, love their logo, and praise their people who are working so hard for Earth and the planet and the solar system. I remember when people used to talk about God and Jesus and Buddha and Allah and Krishna and religions like Judaism. And the thinking wasn't so shallow. A person could just mention a word and get everybody to agree. There would be a pastor who would spend weekends, weeknights, days, and freaking early mornings getting a teaching for their congregation, for their believers and their followers, for whatever word they had of God, for whatever word they had in their holy book. And now, all a business has to do has been done already. They're so far into the future. They are so far past the world. They are the next day. They are the next year. They are the next millennium. And people like me and people who watch this kind of video on YouTube, support them, encourage them, and love them and all their colors and all of their images and all of their marketing material. There's no opportunity to make a better treatment for cancer. These folks and these people already have it in process. It's already getting done. There's no opportunity to stop the business who says to the public their rules and then go home to a family and children who have been disregarding what the rest of the public follows as restrictions. From early morning until late afternoon, early evening, technology, 6 or 7-year-old, 11-year-old, scary videos, swearing sounds, vulgarity, obnoxiousness, and disregard for the hardworking person who's doing research to go to college. Because they figured out speed, they figured out accuracy, and they know how to get there faster than there can be said. People like this, what I'm describing, used to be called sorcerers, witches, wizards, and magicians. And they were a stimulus. And the reward from the person who's viewing their consciousness being described in their performance didn't get depressed because they got positive excitement, flashy images, and brilliant colors and sounds. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist, racist, white supremacist, nationalist bitch. Describing the disgustingness involved with these examples. I don't care if you're a Jedi from Microsoft. I don't care if you have made climate change go away. We don't have Jedi powers. We don't have levitation abilities. We don't have swords made out of light. And we sure as heck aren't going to be satisfied in a world with no climate change and illegal cheeseburgers. Eating unicorns and staring at rainbows from the chemicals they spray in the air to make everything all soft and fuzzy. We'll be less attracted to each other. There will be less children naturally being born, and more labs and more science and more restriction to control the natural world, to harness the power of the brain and the mind and the body. For all time. And the movie on YouTube won't be as exciting when a person has no money, has nowhere to go because of a pandemic called coronavirus. They'll walk outside, they'll get in their electric car, they'll zoom on down, be social and have some friends, and nobody will ever argue. Nobody will ever have a moment where they've got to stop and go, oh, I thought that was not what that guy was saying, but dang, that's kind of, nuts. Like, we really did go to the moon, didn't we? We really do have an Earth in outer space. This planet is floating. And their physicists and their supporters will say, we're just spinning. We're just going around in a circle. Going to bed and then waking up. Going to bed and waking up. Going to bed and then waking up. Waking up, going to bed. Waking up, going to bed. The end.